This is incredible. You don't get this in London.
No.
Have you ever dreamed of starting a new life, of turning your back on city living,
Goodbye, London.
giving up everything,
I can see Wales.
and making a brand new life in the country?
Yeah, baby.
For some, the lure of this landscape can be life-changing.
In this series, I'll be meeting the people who've bravely chosen to leave their city lives
Today we actually get our brewery. Feeling a bit sick now.
and follow their dreams by moving to the great British countryside and starting their own business.
That'll be a test on the marriage, won't it? Could be over in a year.
If we can pass this test.
I'll be experiencing their new lives right alongside them.
This is the bit I've always wanted to do.
I'm worried now that you're going to take one look at these and you're going to sack me.
Seeing up close the challenges and risks they face,
Nothing's perfect, and we have to just make it work. If you're not committed to this business, then you shouldn't be here.
This is all I earned today, after all I did.
I'm sorry if I'm stressed. I just have to,
The last 24 hours have been the toughest.
You are very messy.
I'm now genuinely struggling to work out how you have enough time to do everything.
but I'll also be discovering the huge rewards.
I don't really mind how stressed I get with something like this because it's ours. And that is a massive difference.
Of making a new life
Look at that view, look at this place as well.
in the country.
You have the dream.
This week, I'm in the picturesque Worcestershire countryside to meet a couple who left their jobs in the city to follow their dream.
Hanny and Sarah have moved from the suburbia of Croydon in South London for the Malvern Hills, an area of outstanding natural beauty.
They're leaving the London rat race behind.
There wasn't a huge amount of flexibility. It's a case of you come in, you do the same kind of stuff, you go home, repeat it the next day. Do that 5 days a week, have a bit of a break at the weekend and start again.
It's a bit like we're on a treadmill that was just kept going, and it all becomes a bit meaningless, doesn't it?
Hanny was making good money in the financial sector. But at what cost?
So I was up at 6:15, on the train at 10 to 7, at my desk for 7:30, 25 to 8. You've got to do what you've got to do. And generally that involves spending 40, 50, 60 hours a week in the office. Being in Canary Wharf, you see on a daily basis people getting ferried off in ambulances. In the offices I was working in, we had defibrillators on every floor.
It was when Hanny and schoolteacher Sarah started their family that they realised they desperately wanted a new life.
Financially, everything's great, so you don't have to worry about that at all. But suddenly, not seeing your children becomes a lot more important. And you think, they're only going to be this age once. Typically, I wouldn't see them at all from last thing Sunday night until first thing Saturday morning.
We'd gradually reached the stage where we were almost leading separate lives in the same house. So we wanted to find something that we both had an interest in or a passion for, and we both always liked beer, so it seemed like a good idea.
The family have moved 150 miles from London to the rolling Malvern Hills in a beautiful part of the West Midlands.
We didn't used to get views like that, did we, in London? No.
I can see Wales.
You can see Wales.
Here they plan to brew beer and build their own brewery.
We are taking a huge risk. We've moved our family, we've moved ourselves to an area where we have no connections. It's only because it would be a good place to brew beer and it'd be a lovely place to live that we've moved here. There's no traffic, there's lovely clean air, there's so much space.
The whole pace of life is different in a way that really suits us.
So they've given up the security of a well-paid city job and a 3-bed semi in the suburbs for this detached house with a huge garden looking over miles of beautiful countryside. And with zero experience, they're pouring their savings into this disused chicken shed, which they hope to convert into a brewery. It's an ambitious plan.
I can see this place, and I get very excited about this. So I can see the wall in here, I can see we're going to have a resin floor installed with some really expensive drainage. The roof's going to be lined with tin, it's going to be white. The walls are going to be painted, so it's going to be a lot brighter in here.
While they wait for planning permission for the shed, their kitchen will have to do. Sarah cracks on with test batches to find the right recipe to brew her perfect pint.
I'm going to be the head brewer, I think is the technical name, but I'm only head brewer because there isn't anyone else brewing.
It will be a massive step up from home brewing to one day producing thousands of bottles a time, and Sarah needs her beers to stand out from the crowd.
What would you like for breakfast, guys?
Sarah's using a home brewing kit and trying out different mixes.
It's much easier to brew without children around because you have to really concentrate on timings and temperatures and everything else. The temperature needs to be just right for starting the brew, so I'm just checking it's going to be high enough for when we need it. Thank you, Edward, for banging. Have you had enough breakfast, Edward?
Right, open wide. Oh, what a good boy.
With Sarah in charge of beer production, Hanny will be spending much of his time looking after the children, which is a big part of their dream for a very different kind of life.
Head back. Oh, okay, that's it, that'll do. I don't think I'd ever done this when I was in London. I was always gone before the children were up. It's really nice having this time. There's people you talk to and they've been very busy in their careers. And a lot of them will say, I just wish I had more time when the children were this age, and they completely missed several years of their children growing up. Right, head forward a bit. Right, we need to get this right.
Ow!
What?
Holding my head.
Oh, sorry. Okay? High five. Yo.
We put rabbit in.
It's a massive change for both of us. Sarah really enjoys it because it's time away from the children, and I really enjoy it because it's time with the children. And it's something that just didn't happen before. Right, France, are we ready?
Really, Mummy?
Oh, well, Mummy is making some beer. It's funny, looking back then, did I have more on my mind then? Probably not really. Actually, I'm probably woken up a lot more in the middle of the night now by things going around my mind. Now, if anything, the stakes are a lot higher now.
Sarah has mixed her first test batch, but it has to sit for 2 weeks before they can taste the fruits of their labour.
40 litres, just excellent. Thank you.
It's not just the beer Hanny and Sarah are waiting for. They've been waiting for 7 months for the go-ahead to convert the shed into their brewery. Without it, they can't start making money.
We were expecting a decision on the planning 10 days ago. Haven't had anything, so we've been chasing it up. And the council said that they were waiting on some consultees. And then when we've looked on the website today, they only consulted these other people on Monday. So a week after they should have made the decision, they've started consulting people. And every day that goes past that we haven't got the planning permission and the contractor hasn't started work on the building, the less likely it's going to be that that's going to happen.
But delays to the brewery are not the only bump in the road.
Oh no, that's not good. That is not saleable.
Coming up, Sarah's recipe goes wrong. Hanny has a tough decision to make.
This decision's definitely up there on the scale of decisions.
And I meet the couple 3 years on and get stuck in helping out with the brew.
I don't think anyone fully realised how many tonnes, probably, of weight has been moved back and forth, and she's doing it all herself. So many of us have dreamed of having our own businesses, and if you like ale, this has got to be the #1 aspiration. But I've always wondered whether the reality matches the dream.
For Hanny and Sarah, the stress of city life was too much. Hanny's job in the city meant working all hours. He and Sarah were living separate lives, and he was missing seeing their children grow up. So they've packed in their jobs, sold their house and moved 150 miles to pursue their countryside dream of running a brewery together.
This is a session bitter, so it's a nice, easy drinking, quite light, not very alcoholic bitter, basically.
While they wait for planning permission to build their brewery, Sarah's been brewing test batches in the kitchen to perfect her recipes. And today they're putting them to the taste test. at the local vicar's Jubilee party.
Although it's very low-key and it's just an informal sort of tasting, this is the first time that we've actually said, here's some of our beer.
We've got to think today, all feedback is a gift.
I promise not to take it personally if people don't like the beer.
It's feedback.
Well done.
No.
It's a nerve-wracking wait for Sarah.
I've brewed the beer, so the recipes are my recipes. And so now it's a case of putting it out there and saying to people, do you like my recipes? Here it goes. Our beer going to be tasted for the first time. But if nobody likes the beer, it's all a waste of time. So the pressure is a bit on me today, really, to see whether people like the beer.
A bit different to Canary Wharf, isn't it?
With their samples out, it's the moment of truth for Sarah's beer.
Hello.
Hello there.
So where did you get the name Unity from?
Well, it was actually sitting in a sermon on unity in our last church.
Fantastic.
And I was sat there listening and I thought, unity, and he was talking about the strength of unity and everything else, and I suddenly thought, that's it, unity. Do you like that one?
Everything you're drinking now, the hops are from Stocks Farm.
This is light.
That's a light one, yeah.
How are you finding it?
Very, very good.
We don't want to release anything for sale that isn't absolutely brilliant, because you only get a first chance at making a first impression. Everyone is so welcoming and friendly that I think they desperately want us to do well.
Oh, that's good. Should have done that hours ago.
I'm really pleased with that. People tasting my beer and saying, oh, that tastes really good.
I think we need to go and get brewing quickly and in larger volumes so that we can satisfy demand.
But with no brewery yet to brew in, it doesn't matter how good the recipe is if they can't make enough beer to sell in high volumes. Sarah has arranged with fellow brewing friend Steve, who lives 100 miles away, to use his large-scale brewing kit, so that she can see if her recipes work when mass-produced.
So although it's my recipe and I know my recipe works on a small kit, I've no idea how that's going to transfer into a big kit. In theory, you just scale it up. But that's dependent on me having done all my calculations correctly. Aha! We're here. Hiya!
Good to see you.
It's a big step up from home brewing in the kitchen.
Steve's kit is a 6-barrel kit, so it can do about 1,000 litres, and we're going to have a 10-barrel, which will do 1,600 litres.
Ready?
Yep. This is my recipe, my beer, that I'm actually making here with Steve's help, but this is the first time I've brewed on a scale that isn't homebrew, basically. Thank you very much.
It will be 2 weeks before Sarah knows if her beer is good enough to sell and finally bring in some much-needed money. There's good news. While the batch is brewing at Steve's house, finally, 7 months after they gave up their life in London and regular monthly paycheck, they get planning permission to convert the chicken shed into their very own brewery.
This is a significant investment. It's not only the money that we're taking out of our savings, it's also the lost earnings. Obviously, we're not drawing a salary at the moment, so our current account is only going one way. It really is frightening. You're putting your own money into something. You get to that point when you're sort of almost past the point of no return. And I think we're rapidly getting to that point. And you suddenly say, OK, we've got to commit now. And it's when you start seeing sort of the infrastructure go in, it really, it hits you. And you think, OK, crikey, this is really happening now. Because at the end of the day, we can talk about things and do drawings and plans. We can do that for months. And that's the easy bit. It's when it starts happening, you suddenly go, OK, this is real.
With the build in full swing, reality starts to hit home for Hanny and Sarah. It's been 2 weeks since Sarah scaled up her beer production using a friend's brewery. The 700 bottles are ready to test and will provide the couple's much-needed first source of income.
I've just opened a bottle and it's really fizzy. I mean, it's way too fizzy.
A good pale ale is never fizzy, meaning the whole batch could be undrinkable.
Got nearly 700 bottles of beer here, and if it's over-conditioned and too fizzy, it's not saleable. It's just all going to have to go to waste, which is, oh my goodness, doesn't bear thinking about. Oh no, that's not good. That is not saleable. The problem is that even if I open one and it's okay, I don't know which of those bottles are okay and which are not, so we can't sell any of it. So, you have to get ready to brew tonight. That's so disappointing.
Instead of a much-needed cash injection, Sarah's going to have to pour hundreds of pounds straight down the drain. And just a few days later, Hanny faces a decision that threatens their whole new life. At a time when they have yet to start making any money, a leading city finance company is offering him work.
All the companies I've worked for have been FTSE 100 companies, so they've been big companies. And I think when you get an offer to go back into that world, you know, it's a hard thing to say no. It's a real privilege being invited to work in organisations like that. And to say no thank you is another real leap of faith.
Hanny has a big decision to make.
Now, I'm very risk averse, so I think that just go to London because that short-term pain for the business will be forgotten about by middle of next year. Whereas if I stay here, come middle of next year, even best case, money's going to be tight. So it's just balancing that at the moment.
The company want an answer today.
So this decision's definitely up there on sort of the scale of decisions. Yeah, it's a big one. So it's a good decision-making tool. So you toss a coin and you say, OK, heads I'm going to London, tails I'm not going to London. If you're unhappy with what the coin shows you, then you've got a good feel for what the right answer is. Interesting. Tails.
Sarah is the first to know.
Hi.
My mind at the moment is to stay.
It's a no, yeah.
Yeah. I'm just going to need to be here, aren't I?
Yeah.
Things have changed hugely in the last 3 weeks. And it feels to me that to duck out now is just not a good thing to do.
No.
As night falls, after having their dream move to the country put to the test, the couple take the opportunity to reflect on what they're doing.
That's going to be our brewery.
Yeah. How cool is that?
Are you feeling a little bit sickly nervous?
Yeah. Awesome.
I'm feeling so nervous now.
"3 weeks since she poured 700 bottles and over £1,000 down the drain, Sarah has made a new batch of beer. It's been tried and tested and isn't too fizzy. So today, she's on her first selling trip to a local shop she hopes will stock her product.
This is one of the main local retailers, really, so it would be a great one to get into. This is my first ever experience at sort of direct selling, so I'm feeling very nervous. I haven't had time to even think this morning, so I would like to have had at least just half an hour of peace to myself to actually sit and think, what am I going to say? What might he ask me? It is really nerve-wracking, completely out of my comfort zone. Oh.
With over 200 breweries in the area, there's fierce competition for shelf space.
What is different about this?
We're going to be brewing at Stocks Farm in their old chicken shed.
Okay.
So that's the names of the beers are all names of chickens.
Interesting.
So,
okay. How many come in a case?
It's a case of 12.
Okay.
And what we're suggesting, and obviously we're quite new to this, so I'd be interested to hear what you think, but when we open the brewery shop, we're going to be selling them at £2.65 a bottle or 4 for £10.
Yeah. Sounds good. That looks nice. I think it will sell well. What I would say is if you could bring a delivery into us, just a case of each to get us going, we'll stock it, we'll get it on the shelf and get it priced up and what have you.
He's taking a case of each. I wonder if we've gone too cheap, because he didn't question it at all. But anyway, never mind. If it means we sell beer and we're happy, then with the price we've set, then that's great.
Renovations are almost complete, and it's a big day for Hanny and Sarah.
Today we actually get our brewery. Oh, look! Oh, wow. This is what we've been waiting for. This is the moment where it's really going to feel real. I'm feeling a bit sick now. Because I've been to other people's breweries and seen all of this. But this is our brewery that I'm going to have to be able to operate, so... Ooh.
Wow. Today has been better than the best Christmas ever. This is real boys' toys, this stuff. It's fabulous.
The new kit cost £80,000, over half their life savings.
We made the decision to have good quality kit, so this has all been made in England, because the better the quality kit, the more consistent you can be with your beers. Ooh!
With this kit, Hanny and Sarah can now make 3,000 bottles of beer each brew, worth around £5,000 in sales.
If we're just doing one brew a week, we're covering costs, but we're not paying ourselves. As soon as we start getting towards 2 brews a week, then we're starting to make some money. So that's good. Then we're recharging our savings and we're paying ourselves. So we need to ramp it up sooner rather than later. We need to get into the cask market as well, and with this kit we can do that. So that's going to be going around pubs, talking to people and seeing. And to be honest, I don't know what it's going to be like, whether it's going to be easy, difficult. I just haven't got a clue.
Coming up, 3 years on, I find out how Sarah is managing being head brewer.
Do you feel that there's lots to be juggling with?
And there's that eternal problem of being a working mum, that you're feeling guilty if you're at home and you're feeling guilty if you're at work.
I'm on my way to meet a couple who left the hustle and bustle of Croydon in South London for this, the glorious Malvern Hills. Not only have they come here to start a new life, but also a new career as brewers. I wonder whether it tastes as good as it sounds.
3.5 years ago, this vast warehouse was a disused chicken shed. But Sarah and Hanny had a dream: to install £80,000 worth of brewing kit and, despite zero experience, create their very own brewery. And I can't wait to see for myself how far they've come since Sarah's first brew.
Sarah, there you are, busy working away.
Hi there.
How are you?
I'm all right, thank you.
Very good to see you. Hanny.
Hey, Ben.
How are you? Good to see you.
This
This is unbelievable. This has grown in scale. Can I have a quick look around?
Yeah, sure.
So can I step into your office here? The scale of all of this looks like it's grown as well.
Yeah, I mean, 3 years ago, the brew house was here and the 2 fermenters,
Yeah.
but the conditioning tank is new.
With all due respect, it almost feels like it's more sophisticated now.
Yeah, I think as a business, we thought we're growing up. You know, we know what we're doing at this scale. We've got our processes in place, and it's just getting a lot more coherent.
So what would you describe this as? Is this the bar area? Is this the pub?
Yeah, on a Friday evening, it's a bar. So when we first opened, and we would have, a dozen farmers kind of standing in the cold, drinking beer on a Friday night. And gradually more and more people have come, and so we've made the area bigger, we've got more tables and chairs, we've got 2 more hand pumps.
And it's so nice, it's helped us get to know everybody in the area.
Who pulls the pints?
Both of us. Yeah.
So this is a full family affair in the brewery and in the bar, the pub?
Yes.
Yeah.
Hanny and Sarah made a clear decision about their roles when they moved here. Hanny doing the office work and childcare, and Sarah doing the brewing. I want to find out if they've been able to stick to this. So I join Hanny meeting the kids from school.
Hello, you must be Edward. Hey Edward, high five. Nice to meet you. And Florence. Nice to meet you. How was school?
Very much.
Was it good? Should we get you up? It's pretty cold, isn't it?
Working in the city, Hanny rarely saw his children during the week.
Hop over there, everyone. We'll go through this way.
Now he collects them after school and enjoys the beautiful countryside with them.
This is not a bad place to be able to come with the children after school, even in the midwinter. It's incredible.
It is really nice, isn't it? Yes. And that didn't sound hopeful.
That sounds like a London child. And interesting dynamic again that we've got right now. Your wife is still at the brewery.
Yes, yes.
And you're here doing children's care.
I think it's wonderful.
Is it always the same, or do you rotate?
There's a bit of rotation during the week. So some days it'll be this way round. Yeah. Other days I'll still be in the brewery until later. But it's so nice, and I think, and I hope, very good for the children. Is it still something that was worth that change of lifestyle, change of work? Yes, for this, absolutely. Because there was no way I ever could have done this before. At this time, I'll still be at my desk. That's got to be good for your mental well-being. Yeah, there's a terrific amount of value in that. And the children are only this age once, so we're really lucky to be able to spend this time together. And, we're not without stress still. It's a completely different kind of stress, and it is still very much there. And later tonight, I'll be working. And most evenings, we're working until fairly late.
And speaking of working, Sarah's got some beer barrels that need washing out.
A big screwdriver, so if I show you one.
Yes.
So you just literally lever it out.
Yep. There we go.
Oh, perfect. You've got a job.
I'm a natural cast cleaner, obviously.
There you go. And then the shives need to come out. That's about the best way to do it.
Yeah. Sort of.
Perfect.
Not quite as elegant as yours.
It's all right.
And labels coming off as well.
Yeah, the labels have to come off too.
It is still pretty amazing when I think that just a few years ago you were in a classroom, you knew nothing
about beer.
About this.
Yeah.
And
well, I
here
knew
you
how
are.
to drink it, but I didn't know how to make it. Yes. I think it's only about 4 years, since I did my very first test brew at home.
Are you surprised when you see where you are now?
Yes, yes. Because occasionally, something popped up on Facebook, and it said 4 years ago today, I was bottling my very first home brew. And I looked at that, and then I just literally stood and looked around me and went, oh my goodness, how can this have happened in 4 years? It's amazing.
Next, Sarah gets me started on a fresh brew.
This is the grain.
The grain?
The grain.
Okay.
So that goes in first.
It smells nice.
It does smell good, doesn't it?
Really nice. It reminds me of Ovaltine.
Yeah, and when it mashes in the morning, it smells really nice and malty. This is what gives it a bit of body and helps the head retention. So you get the nice, when you drink, you get that nice lacing down the glass.
Yeah.
And then we just need to add some liquor treatment because our water here isn't ideal for brewing beer.
Yeah.
So we just have to adjust it chemically a little bit.
All right.
So.
Is that to do with the hardness of the water, or?
Yeah, and the calcium in it and the chloride and all that kind of thing. So we need to add some calcium sulfate.
Yep.
We need 564 grams to start with.
It's like extreme cooking, this.
Yeah.
On a massive scale.
Yeah.
The bags that you're adding to the machines are 20, 25 kilograms. Everything has to be moved many, many times. I'd love to know the amount of weight lifted per pint of beer consumed by people. I don't think anyone fully realise how many tons, probably, of weight has been moved back and forth, and she's doing it all herself.
But Hanny and Sarah still work closely together, running their business. I'm here just when they're starting to develop a brand new product to keep up with market trends.
When you first came here, did you imagine how much you'd have to keep adapting and diversifying to keep up with ideas like Dry January? Because that's something that's relatively new.
I think in the marketplace, you need to change. You can't just have the same beers. So we've always got to look and see where's the market going. And that's really important. So you're absolutely right. Dry January, and we've got Stoptober as well. So, and they really hurt the licensed trade. A lot of landlords are very upset in January and October because it really dampens things down.
So I've got about probably 4 different methods in my head that I'm thinking we could try, or maybe a combination of all of them.
I love it. Just seeing this process, I'm getting a real insight that to run the business that you have created, you need to be business folk, but you also need to be scientists, physicists, chemists, cooks, chefs, cleaners, packers.
Yeah.
I mean, you are
marketing.
You are multi-dimensional.
You have to learn a whole range of things. We could get people in to help us with them, but that's all going to come off our bottom line. So we have to learn it ourselves and do it for ourselves.
A big reason for Hanny and Sarah's move is lifestyle. They have a lovely house surrounded by countryside and are making a new life for all the family.
This must be nice. I mean, this is what it's all about for you guys, wasn't it? That you can actually be back. You know, lots of people would still be in an office now, wouldn't they?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. But this is a dynamic that a lot of people don't necessarily get.
And we
that's the
certainly
dream,
never
isn't
did.
it?
Yeah, we never did, because you would only have been home as the children were falling asleep, wouldn't you?
Yeah, if I was
in
lucky.
London.
Yes.
Yeah.
Is it nice to have mum and dad around lots? I suppose for them it's the normality now, because this is how it's been for the last few years.
When we first moved, it was really hard for the children because I've done everything before.
Yeah.
And so, to then move, and suddenly I was at work and Hanny was taking over. And when we first moved, I used to have to write big, long lists of everything for Hanny, of what to do, when.
How detailed were those lists?
Very detailed.
Was it?
Oh.
Yes. And now, it's not even a question of what are they eating, it's just, I'm getting the kids, all right, I'll see you later.
A lot of the move then was for these guys. They were obviously a lovely school, amazing garden to play in, space all around.
Yeah, clean air,
Clean air. Was that a worry for you, city life?
Yeah, just the general busyness. Everything's so busy, and just traffic jams everywhere.
Have you guys been bribing your children or something? How are they eating in complete silence and no complaining?
They were probably very hungry.
My children need to see this, because this is astonishing. I haven't heard a peep out of both of you.
Were you hungry,
You were beautifully behaved. You were starving. Look at you, wolfing down those peppers.
Every Friday night, Hanny and Sarah open their brewery doors to the public. It's an opportunity for the locals to meet up and for Hanny and Sarah to hear what people think of the beer.
Are you here as regular, I don't know what we call this, a pub, a bar, regular visitors?
Friday evenings.
So why do you, it's a cold, it's a cold barn. You could be next to a nice fire in a proper pub. What draws you out here then?
It attracts so many people.
Feel of a community.
You can always guarantee to meet somebody.
Tell me about the beer. What do you think? What do you think of it?
Oh, it's lovely beer.
Are you being paid to say that?
No. I spend a lot of money on it.
Yeah. Is everyone enjoying the local brew? Do you know which one you've gone for?
Jester.
Jester.
So this is the green hop. So it's very seasonal, and the hop miles are a bit short because it's about 200 metres.
Yeah, I mean that's one of the USPs, obviously, with the ales they're producing, that it's local hops. And do you think that? Do you taste that as a beer drinker?
Yes, definitely. And they also do experimental hops. So there's a taste here that you've not got in beers elsewhere.
How's the beer? Is it good? Yeah? Do you really rate it well?
Yes.
So you're regulars here, you've been here many times before?
Many times. Day one.
Yeah. From day one?
From day one.
How has this changed then, from that day one when you came here? Because I hear it's grown a little bit, they've had to extend...
We ran out of space very quickly. It became very much a focal point, and Hanny and Sarah expanded it, so that's where we are today.
See, to an outside observer who doesn't live locally and who doesn't know anyone here, it seems an odd place to come and socialise. It's quite industrial behind you. This is a working brewery. You could, I'm just playing devil's advocate, you could be in a nice local pub with a fire. So what's the draw of coming here?
And then people are coming 10 miles, 20 miles because the beer's good.
And having got to see a bit of what they do, it's there behind you, have you got an insight into the amount of work that they put into it?
I don't think they've got an easy life. It's not as easy as maybe they thought coming away from London, where they did it in a way to change their lifestyle. But I think they're loving it better from a community point of view. But it's not easy work.
I think what Hanny and Sarah have created here is very much a combination of living, family, job and place. There aren't that many people who are able to combine all of those dreams in one packet.
But there does seem to me to be a trade-off. As one woman said to me, it's not easy work. And it's not. It's nearly 9 o'clock now and the couple have still got work to do before they can turn in for the night. I can see I've only just started to scratch the surface. Coming up, I dig a little deeper and find out just how hard it is running your own brewery.
I'm now genuinely struggling to work out how you have enough time to do everything.
Hanny and Sarah left their home and jobs in London to start a brewery in an old chicken shed in the shadow of the Malvern Hills. 3 years on, I'm finding out just what it takes not only to set up a business from scratch, but to keep it running. And that means an early start.
It's 7 a.m. on a wintry morning. The birds are just beginning to wake up and we're starting the day with a brew. But it's not coffee or tea.
To make a profit, Sarah has to brew 1,000 litres twice every week. I've got here early to continue where I left off. First task of the day is filling the barrels we cleaned yesterday, with beer Sarah mixed a week ago. It's a continual cycle.
So the beer has been in the fermenter now for nearly a week.
Yes.
So it's fermented almost all the way, so there's just still a little bit of yeast and a little bit of sugar left.
Right.
So we're going to put it into the barrels. It'll
Yes.
be flat when it goes in, and
Yep.
then it will ferment in the barrels, and that's what makes it fizzy.
Right, shall we get this in?
Yes, let's.
How
so
much?
we need 425 mils. So it's a
Well,
bit
it's
hard
very
to see.
exact, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
425
So there's
mils.
400.
And just pour this in?
Pour that in, yeah. So this is at finings. It makes all the little yeast particles clump together, so then they're heavy, so then they
Right.
fall out, so it leaves the beer bright.
And then this one.
Yeah. So we just need to make sure it's clear beer coming out. Mind your toes. See, that's a bit yeasty. Ooh,
I love
and
the way you
colour
just,
of that.
you just put it on the floor.
That's the joy of having a drainage
Yeah,
channel
you
on the
wouldn't do
floor.
that at school, would you?
No, or in my kitchen when I was brewing
No.
there either.
Do you feel kind of more healthy with this lifestyle, just
Yeah.
generally?
Yes, because I am, active all the time.
But
No.
there's lots to be juggling with.
Yes, there is. My mind is rammed, really, because there's the kids as well at home. What they're doing at school, what they need, what time they need picking up and all that kind of thing. And there's that eternal problem of being a working mum, that you're feeling guilty if you're at home and you're feeling guilty if you're at work.
It's like extreme pint pouring, this.
Yes. 72 pints in a barrel.
72 pints.
Our barrels need to be sealed before stacking them on pallets ready for transportation.
This is definitely a job you kind of want to do with one other person.
Yeah, I mean, I do often have to
Do you do it
my
on your own, do you? It's when you get a little bit higher, I'm sure that becomes
It's not a job for the faint-hearted.
These ones on the other, yep. How much do you decide these were each?
54 kilos.
54 kilos. It's a pretty good effort.
I'm amazed at the sheer hard graft that Sarah puts into this business. And I'm intrigued to find out where Hanny fits into all of this.
I actually have to roll my sleeves up in here, it's so hot.
Well,
It's so hot.
Welcome to head office. I think we've got maybe a little bit too much heating on.
I mean, it is a tale of two worlds. So, I mean, quite literally, out there, Sarah is producing the product, and in here, you're ensuring that you have all the ingredients at the right time to produce that product, and you're making sure it's sold in time, etc., etc.
Yeah, because all the collections. So it's, like all the logistics actually out on the road and the logistics within the business all happen in here.
Do you ever do job swap with Sarah, just so that you're fully aware of what each of you does, so that Sarah isn't out there in the freezing cold going, oh, he's just sitting there playing Tetris on his computer. Internet shopping.
Oh, that'd be nice. That would be nice. It would. It'd be lovely me going out there, but I sadly just don't have the skills for it. So it's something I really couldn't do.
And you're being serious then?
Yeah, absolutely. The brewing side of it, I don't get involved in any way. The high-skilled side of it, I haven't got a clue.
You are now your own bosses. The buck stops with you. Does that make it automatically more enjoyable, irrelevant of the amount of time that you spend on it?
That's a really difficult one, because it becomes so much a part of you. So you're living, breathing it, you're thinking it. every minute of the day. It succeeds or fails by the decisions we make, by the beers we brew. It's almost like landing an aeroplane. You need to get it right first time, every time, because we've not got that sort of support net that you'd have in a larger organisation where you can go to work, and if you have an off day, generally you're not going to lose your job for it. Whereas here, if we have an off day, the results can be big and they can hit you very quickly.
I'm discovering that it's a very different work environment for both Hanny and Sarah. It's a world away from their salaried jobs in London. And there seems to be an enormous amount of pressure to get it right. Since I've been here, I've not seen Sarah sit down once.
I mean, I don't say this lightly. There's a lot of different tasks that have to be done. It's almost like just having a small insight. It's like a never-ending
there's always
job.
something.
I mean,
That's
who would have
right.
thought you'd be now making special carrying boxes
I know,
for your
that's
beer?
it. So the beer's mashing in, and I literally think, right, I've got 20 minutes. What can I do in that 20 minutes? And yeah, there's always something to do.
Is it an economic thing right now that you have to do all of these things,
Oh.
or is it also because you enjoy doing it?
It is definitely an economic thing at the moment. You know, there's no way we could afford to employ people to do everything while we just managed, both of us.
I'm now genuinely struggling to work out how you have enough time to do everything.
During my time here, I've found out that brewing beer is a never-ending cycle.
Wow, look at that. So that is 1/4 of a tonne.
When it was dry.
Is this all coming out?
It is.
This is going to warm me up.
Yes.
Physically and because of the heat.
From cleaning out the mashers to serving customers, it's non-stop.
Christmas shopping before December, what is going on? Very organised.
But they have the countryside on their doorstep, and they're spending time as a family together. Having experienced for myself what it takes to run your own brewery, I want to know if after 3 years, this completely new lifestyle and career is everything they thought it was going to be.
Would you describe your own journey as an adventure?
I think so.
Yes.
Because it's kind of stepping out into the unknown, isn't it? And taking risks, which we've certainly done.
So are you therefore brave?
I guess we must be. There's a fine line between brave and stupid, but I think it's working out the right way, so I think it's...
I'm not
we
going
can call ourselves brave.
I'm not going to ask if you're stupid, but are you crazy?
Maybe that's a better word. Fine line between brave and crazy, yes. Yeah. I think you have to have a bit of craziness to do something like this.
Because there's going to be a lot of Hanny and Sarahs out there, and they're also dreaming of changing their career, changing their jobs. What advice do you give to other people who haven't yet done it?
I never, ever imagined how much work it would be. No. I knew it was going to be hard work, but I never realised how much physical hard work and hours of hard work it was going to be.
Do you think the community has been instrumental in not just putting down roots, but feeling happy and comfortable with where you are?
I'm not sure we would still be here if it wasn't for the support of the community and the welcome that we've received. Because it has been really hard, but the bar has been fantastic, hasn't it? And the people coming along and supporting us, and then them going out to pubs and telling pubs how great this beer is, you've got to have this beer. And so when we felt pretty rubbish, Friday nights have lifted us, haven't they?
And a lot of them now, say they're our friends. And it's fantastic, and you'll leave here then, sort of 10:30 at night, and you're on a high. And it's wonderful, and we haven't even had anything to drink. It's brilliant.
Well, listen, thank you so much for letting me come and spend a little bit of time with you.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
It's very impressive. It takes hard work, though.
Yeah.
I'll think twice about setting up my own brewery. I'll let you guys do it. Everything about what they've created is all-consuming, and the work is their life, and their life is their work, because they're still slaves to the business, but it's a small business. And I think what they have proven is that the dream is one thing, actualising it, living it, and making a success of it is another.